Sports Media. I'm that dude with the beard. That's Mr. KC. And as you can see, it's a lot of red going on. It is officially Red Wednesday, the eve before the NFL kickoff. The world champion Kansas City Chiefs will be facing the Baltimore Ravens. And Mr. KC, I couldn't be more excited about it. Can't wait to talk about it. What's going on, my man? I think we lost Mr. KC for a second. But getting on into it, man, this is a rematch of the AFC Championship game. The fifth meeting, I believe, between the two, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Sixth meeting, one of them. Sixth meeting, I think. I think Mahomes is, 4-1 against him. And what a game to start off the NFL season with. You have the MVP. Well, two of the last MVPs in the last few years going head to head here on a Thursday night, the first annual Jeff Bezos Bowl of the season here. And all we can see is action. I got Patrick Mahomes, of course, and the Chiefs winning this game here is an easy prognosis to talk about, but we can break it down a little bit further. And anybody who jumps in, anybody who has any questions or comments, of course, go ahead and put them in the chat here. But where do we start here? Home game for Kansas City, banner night, Geha Stadium. It's going to be electric. Just talking about the atmosphere for a second, it's going to be rockets. But it's going to be even louder than it was last year because everybody's going to be there and everybody's going to be playing. There's no holdout drama. Chris Jones in the stands with the fans and all that extra stuff. All that's done. So this banner night goes perfect. Mr. KC, I don't know if you heard what I was saying here about it, but I was telling the folks about the game starting off, the perennial matchup between pretty much the last two MVPs in the NFL. It should be a slobber knocker just getting into it. Oh, I think we lost him again. I don't know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is flip flopping, but hopefully we can get some technical stability going here in a moment. But back to the atmosphere of the situation here. Like I said, it's a banner night, so the crowd is going to be raucous here. And we in Kansas City here, we are the tailgate masters. I'm pretty sure there's people out there already getting prepared and everything. They camp out well in Kansas City. I mean, parking lot full. So if you got a reserved spot, it's pretty much the best way to go. You got to catch that Uber. Uh, but we're ready here. The food is going to be going, the beer is going to be flowing, and it's just going to be nothing but a championship vibe here. And to the game itself here, it's like I said, a matchup between former MVPs, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, almost unanimous NFL MVP twice over here versus the reigning and defending. And just the head to head matchup between those two here. If you leave it to mainstream media here, they really been talking like Lamar is really the better quarterback. But we always see slight on the Chiefs early in the season and early when we're talking about certain things because it just seems like they like to give us ammunition to be able to do more going forward. Um, Me personally, if you look at the numbers, Patrick Mahomes' numbers was pretty much, if not better than Lamar's. I mean, it was definitely on par. And I mean, considering he went to the Super Bowl, I mean, but that's who you wanted your MVP to be. Close in rankings here as far as getting the job done. But without a shadow of a doubt, Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. He has the it factor. The only thing Lamar, I say, has over him is the mobility thing. We often talk about that, but when Pat has to run, he's dangerous. Like he's almost got career 2,000 rushing yards low key, and that's on the under, and that's not an easy feat for a quarterback to say the least. So uh, head-to-head matchup between those two is obviously Mahomes. We can break down all the weapons here if we really much have to. I don't see much things freezing. There we go. Um, Wide receiver room is not even a question. Kansas City has that thing on lock. I'm excited to see the rollout of this new offense. The three-peat offense is what I'm calling it. This is the triangle here. This is the one that we need to take us through the threshold and take us over the hill, through the woods. but we're going past grandma's house because we done been there already. We trying to get this thing rolling, and I love the addition, like I said, of Juju Smith. We had talked about it previously on the show a while ago when he was released. I was saying it'd be okay to bring him back. And like I said, just another guy there who's not Sky Moore or McCole Harbin or any of the other guys who just literally can't catch the ball no matter what time of season it is. And that was just all pinning the Ray Rice situation. But now that we know that he's going to be available, this wide receiver room is just simply outstanding.
Yeah, it's amazing some of the conversation this week, especially guys like Rasheed Rice. Like I've seen comments expecting him to be suspended. Like people were so confused and haven't followed the Chiefs, and they just assume that at some point this season it's going to happen. This has already been settled with Rasheed Rice. They're not doing anything after the civil case, and that's in June. So we know there's nothing happening this year. I hate to disappoint y'all. I know y'all praying and hoping for suspensions, but it's not what the case is here, folks. So it's wild when you see that, and then I see a lot of the Chiefs opening just completely ignore the situation around the loss. You never want to sit here and start making excuses. But if you're telling me without Travis Kelsey and Chris Jones, I'm gonna let you know the Chiefs will be in a little bit of trouble. Like that's an uphill battle, and they
And
still almost won that game.
And I'm about to say, and they still almost won that game. It had it not been for the toss up of the century, the Kadarius Tony interception assist. Like, dude, this is a whole different game. Like, we can talk about, like I said, we can make excuses, but there ain't no point because, as you can see, this is the most current Super Bowl hat. We are the champions, so ain't an excuse I gotta make. They rocked them wrongs. Train moving.
Right, right. Is look, and that's what you got to do. You got to build off your failure. I seen one commenter. It happened to be a Broncos fan, which made the comment even more ironic. Is the Chiefs had a bad one last year. They probably regressed this year. And I was like, I don't think how you can look at all these off-season move and have a regression as your prediction.
Um, what did Pat say at the celebration? What did he say? I don't know what a rebuild is. I don't know what rebuild means. Like, what are we talking about? Put me some
Can't even
guys
spell
out
it.
here, and I'm gonna get it done. Like I said, and he showed the world 2 years in a row. If they've already announced the third one, like I said, this is a spoiler. Chris Jones told y'all back at the celebration, we gonna be back here. It's a wrap. We getting this repeat. God bless America.
Man, it's wild to think about too. And really, once you even look past the three-peat, it becomes a point where you start having to look around the league and ponder who is that David to this Goliath. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be the guy? You're going to start looking for your Nick Foles, your Eli Mannings. Somebody, anybody. Please just play spoiler. And we're seeing a lot of that now from a lot of fan bases.
And a lot of people like to think is Joe Burrow. A lot of people tell me, well, look at the record of the head to head. And I'm just like, okay. Look at the last time they played. The most if we talk about football and the most recent thing you done for me, Joe Burrow couldn't even stay healthy enough to be in the rematch for last year. So he just got to take that L graciously. You need to add that to his head-to-head column. But well, he didn't play, yada yada. Last time they played, he got beat on the way to the Super Bowl. A Super Bowl
Right.
win, might I add.
And look, everything we need to discuss something else. We need to talk about how everything we bring up is factual based. Like a lot of how we come to our predictions isn't like pulling it out of our butt. Like we look on like trends and data analysis to come up with these things. And I happened to be watching a different sports show this morning, and I couldn't happen to be more blown away by how wrong they were just based off of like stats. Like they started talking about like the Packers Eagles game and how they're going with the Eagles because the betting public is going with the Packers. And it was like, I couldn't believe they're saying this with a 67% rate on the Eagles. Like I'm like, you guys haven't even like you're basing this off your opinion. And you're basing
Yes,
off that opinion because you, in the back of your mind, you know the Packers are winning this game and not the Eagles.
right. And there's just
Oh,
really no way around it. And looking at the matchup head to head, I don't see how you could even think that that would even happen. But anyway, like I said, they'll settle it on the gridiron, and once we rise again victorious, they'll start listening more traction.
yeah. Shout out to JB Eagles. Good luck to y'all tomorrow night. Should be a great game. Look, it should be. Look, all the primetime games are electric. They're kicking off the season with a bang.
Patrick know how to put on prime time, baby. This is what we do. Like I said, they got to play prime Pat, so it's gonna be a it's gonna be a good one. Still think we win by at least 17, but it should be a good game. Should
Yeah,
be a good
it's
game.
something like it. Look, it's going to be a tight one. And Vegas has it being a super tight, close matchup. And I just really trouble seeing how that's the possibility. Like
Me
it
too.
is.
Mm,
Mm, Derrick Henry is a nice addition for the Ravens. Let's give our flowers. Look, and they got Zay Flowers. Speaking of flowers, but are we going to be serious? Are we going to be serious? The problem is they have a person named Sir Christopher Stone Cold Jones in the middle for Kansas City Chiefs, who just
man,
absolutely demolishes lines. And unfortunately for the Ravens, what most people are not pointing out is the Ravens' offensive line is currently boo boo. There's a lot of
man,
question marks on
mediocre
this
at
offensive
best.
line. Yeah, mediocre might be a strong statement.
And we've seen the rise of George Karlaftis and Mike Danna so dangerous. That dude
Mm,
is the reason why
mm,
we've led the NFL in sacks. What, the last 2 years in a row? I think.
right. And
I'm like, there's a reason why these things happen. Like, yeah. Anyway, good night. Well, so we're gonna see because yeah, that line is in shambles. We've been stopping Derrick Henry for years. I don't see how that's gonna change just because the uniform's different. Big Trust know who we are. He knows us well. So he's always gonna have that in the back of his mind. He's talking about every game's a revenge game, but like I said, you've been looking for revenge for years, man. For years.
right.
I just don't know if you're gonna get it.
And this is a simple way to look at it for me is, you know, if Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens decided to go up by 10 to 14 points and it's the third quarter, I
Mm-hmm.
still feel very comfortable with Patrick Mahomes in this particular situation.
Man.
However, we flip that coin, right? We look on the other side. What do we see? We see all of a sudden a panic. If you see Lamar Jackson down by 7 points,
Mm-hmm.
14 points, 10 points, make it a double digit, 8 points, 9 points. You start making it in that I really got to put the pressure on situation, and I feel 100 times better with Patrick Mahomes than I do in Lamar Jackson in that situation.
Oh yeah, how could you not? As many times as we've seen the Chiefs in that literal situation, and remember who said it? What Super Bowl was it? Was it? Yeah, the Eagles. AJ Brown. He said once they knew they went up that much, he said, "Bro, he remember what he said." He said on the bench, he said, "I knew we was gonna lose then." Once they
yeah,
had got
because
up, he said, "I
yeah,
knew
because
it
it's
then because this is what Pat do." He used that against us. He said, "Oh yeah, you think you about to beat me and it's double digits?" Like okay, because
double
everybody
digits,
know
huh?
if I only lose a game, everybody knows it's seven or less. It's usually about four. y'all might get me. But no, we ain't doing this. And that's Pat.
Mm. And it's wild to think about because most quarterbacks in that situation are not good. If you look at the stats on it, Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback with a winning record when down by 7 points. Like it doesn't make sense how it's like a formula for success is to start being down. And the problem is you cannot say the same thing for the Baltimore Ravens.
Hmm. Like I said, especially when you got a guy, and like I said, I like Big Trust, man, but unless they're just overwhelming a team, he's really not the guy to just like, okay, put my nose in the mud and let's go win this game. Like,
Right,
like I said, yeah, he was MVP last year, but if you literally look at his stats next to Patrick Mahomes, it's like, how did he win MVP when all his stats are literally better, except for the 14 picks? But like I said, 8 of them are on the wide receivers. But that's a whole nother
right.
story. But Lamar Jackson lost 11 fumbles, and he threw about like 7 or 8 picks, so there's still more turnovers. So either way, uh, he's just he's great, but he's just not the guy. Like I said, to if he's down 17, he's not able to rally and be like, yeah, let's go win. I just
Yeah.
don't see it.
And shout out to Luis Gonzalez. He says the Ravens actually led in sacks and the Chiefs were second. And that's an excellent point to start
Oh,
pointing
okay,
out to.
second.
Yeah, and that's an excellent thing to point out to. And it's kind of why the Chiefs won versus the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. It's because both teams are great defense, both teams can attack the quarterback. So, what you have to do on the flip side of that is be able to defend that defense. You use your offensive line to slow down the defensive line. That's the strategy. That's how you counteract a very aggressive team is by having a good offensive line. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs currently have a good offensive line. Questions at left tackle, not so much right. And well, kind of. We will get to that
I
later.
wouldn't
The
even say it
questions.
left. I think he's kind of, I think he's solidified with a little depth. But yeah, we'll talk about it just because the youth in the situation. But that front, Joe Tooney and
Oh,
Creed
yeah,
and Trey, and
is
you
the
know
best interior line,
that
a
thing is
best
solid.
interior offensive line in the league,
Yeah.
without a
So
question of a doubt.
yeah. So I'm not really like I said, I don't really worry about Ravens pressure. They didn't get too much pressure on Pat last year. So I mean, it was we'll see, man.
Yeah,
We'll
and the
definitely see
problem
on that end.
is you got to remember the Ravens had the offensive line that they had last year is not the offensive line they have this year, whereas the
Right.
Chiefs, there's not a drastic change in the offensive line situation. You know, these guys have played together and won Super Bowls together for years.
Right.
Something that you're not going to say in Baltimore or many teams
Continuity.
around the league.
A lot of continuity. A lot of familiarity. And a lot of trust. Big trust, no about it, but it's a lot of trust down there. That's why we on the verge of the three-peat. But moving on to what I was saying in the original portion of the show here, wide receiver room led by the Chiefs in that category. If you had to rank them head to head, tight end positions clearly better. We got the goat, and then moving on here to running back here. This is the only part where it get iffy. You might want to give the nod to Derrick Henry, but dude, Pacheco, they know who he is in Baltimore. So that'd be the only thing I say is skill position. That'd be a toss up between the two. The only thing you could probably argue about is running back.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that we need to talk about besides the running back position is the tight end position because Mark Andrews was in a car accident 2 weeks ago and
Mm-hmm.
just returned to the building. Like let's be honest there. Who knows what kind of condition he's actually in? You
Mm-hmm.
know, questions.
And got that PTSD. You know,
Mm,
he shook up like Clyde. Like I said, that's why they Oh, shook up. They on that list, man. We're gonna have to
Oh
see.
man, that
We're gonna
man
have to
Clyde.
see.
Like, I want to make fun of him, but it's such a like. I feel bad that it's
I'm trying
mental,
to figure out how
man.
he got
Like,
PTSD. I'm like, dude, did you get shot or something at some point in time? Or we're like, what's so traumatic that you got PTSD? What happened to
yeah,
you?
I don't know. I feel like his brother got shot or something. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm gonna pull up Clyde's story while we're talking.
Oh,
Maybe I'll do some research. We need to figure that out. We
man.
need a because I just don't know what it is, and I've seen some comments on it, but you know how that is. Like I'm not gonna take secondhand knowledge.
Right. No, I understand here. Injury report. I believe the only Chief that's not going to be playing is Marquise Brown, which was expected here. I'm expecting him to return around week 2. Out for the Baltimore Ravens, linebacker Adissa Isaac, and doubtful running back Rasheen Ali with a neck injury. So we'll see what happens with him, but doubtful usually means you're not going to play, especially Wednesday reporting this. Um, so not too much missing from either side here. I guess you could say. I mean, just a little bit of depth for the Ravens, but that's what it is. The Chiefs were ready for Marquise Brown not to be playing. That's why the Juju move happened, and Rasheed's out there and Justin Watson out there, so they're gonna be just fine in that slot there. Uh, and moving on here, everything else is healthy. I don't see how you could like the Chiefs in this game. I really think Kansas City got the better defense too. Like I don't think the Ravens defense is really better than Kansas City's.
Oh, I
So
see. I read what it is for Clyde. Uh, I guess the story is in December 2018, Edwards was involved in a fatal self-defense shooting in Scottsdaleville, whatever backwards name that is, Louisiana.
mm,
Edwards Alaire and teammate Jared Small met 18-year-old Kobe Johnson in an arranged electronics cell. When the meeting took place, Johnson pulled a gun and tried to rob them, at which point one of the players pulled their own gun and fatally shot him. Authorities did not reveal which player fired the shots, and as a result from the shooting, there has PTSD. It has been open about his struggles. It caused him to have personal issues, especially after the Chiefs parade, I guess. So,
oh yeah, yeah. So he definitely shot him. So caught a body down in Louisiana. I guess that's messing him up a little bit. Cause I'm just like, bro, I've never seen you out for PTSD. I was like, did you get shot? So yeah,
right,
if you that shook, and
right,
yeah, he had to afford the trigger because living where we live, you know what I'm about to say, Mr. Casey. I've seen plenty of that.
right,
I ain't got PTSD, so
right.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. If I had to take a leap of faith, I would. I guess we would also need to know what his teammate Jared Small's going through. I guess,
man.
but I would almost guess Jared Small's sleeping good at night, and Clyde might be having second thoughts for second reasons. But I would just tell him, man, like that wasn't your choice. You know what I mean? That was his choice. So that's all you can think about that.
I'm trying to tell you because at the end of the day, it looks like what needed to happen had to happen for you to become a running back in Kansas City. So yeah, you'll be all right, man. So outside of that, here should be an easy win for the Chiefs here on this Red Thursday. The first Jeff Bezos Bowls of the year.
Woof. It's man, what a kicker game to start the season, bro. Like it's nice to be like, oh, we're dropping banners. David Banners. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Man,
listen to a little David Banner. It's been a while.
I'm gonna have to do. I'm trying to tell you, go ahead and pull it on out. Yeah, and it's a good time here. If you were going to bet on the Chiefs for tomorrow, it's a good time to start solidifying your bets. seeing what you're
Right,
gonna do,
right,
getting that
right.
thing together. Because trust me, we're gonna have ours together here, and we'll let you know sooner than later. Mr. KC, what sticks out, if anything, here in depth about this game as far as the Chiefs versus the Ravens for you? What's the biggest thing that sticks out to you?
Well, the biggest thing that's really going to stick out to me for Kansas City and really the Ravens both are going to be on the offensive side. Like we're looking at two offenses that have kind of retooled to try to take another run at a Super Bowl this year. The Kansas City Chiefs have done excellent things in improving that wide receiver room. In theory, we thought it was decent, okay-ish looking at the beginning of the season, and it got real rough towards the end. And I think this year you're seeing different. You've got a lot of hype around Rashid Rice. I think he should be 1,000 yard wide receiver.
Yeah,
And then you have Hollywood Brown coming back in, not for this game, but just another weapon to add to the mix. And I think Xavier Worthy has tons of potential, tons of threat potential.
yeah. I really think he's potential to be, offensive rookie of the year. I think he's used in that type of situation, and he's not a project receiver. He's a guy who's ready to play a wide receiver. He's not a transform gadget, turn you into this, turn you into that. Um, Let him fly. Like get him out there, let him fly. And then the reason why he's probably thinking, boy, he was like, this is what's the boy name? Deshaun, was it Deshaun? What's the boy name? Who he had with the Eagles? Stupid fast. Punt
Oh,
return wire. I keep
yeah.
forgetting his name.
You're talking of Deshaun. Dear Lord, this is
Because
embarrassing.
once I
The
say
name's
Deshaun, I
slipping me.
think of Watson because he's so terrible and all that money he's stealing. My mind just automatically goes there.
Yeah, and I keep getting Shady McCoy stuck in my head, and I know that ain't who we're talking about. But he was on that
Jackson,
Eagles team.
that's his name.
Yeah, there we go. Deshaun Jackson. There we go. Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought was interesting is Peyton Manning was asked, if he was a quarterback today, which players would he put in? What would be his offense? And I thought it was pretty stellar. He said he was going to run a two tight end set, so he's taking Kelsey and Kittle at tight end,
Mm-hmm.
and then for a wide receiver, it was Jefferson and Lamar Chase or Jamar Chase on the outsides. And for running back, he wanted Tyreek Hill. He was like, I'm just going to have Tyreek Hill back there running it. Hey, and that was not a bad strategy, though. Like, if you really, I think there would have been a lot of potential if the Chiefs just would have left him at a running back in the day. Like, it just, not throwing him the ball, really, just, run. Can't
I
drop the ball.
don't
You can't.
know.
You ain't giving up interceptions if you're a running back getting a handoff. Hopefully.
Also true, but shoot, man, are you dropping it? He's a little thing. I don't know. I think it worked out the way it should have, but luckily we ain't got this problem with Worthy. He's ready to go.
Oh, we got a shout out to Stefan. We got Ravens are winning the Super Bowl.
Stefan, no, they're not. There's
Yeah,
just no
that's
way. There's no
yeah,
way.
that's crazy talk. Look, I don't want to downplay what Lamar Jackson can do, right? He is an
I do.
excellent quarterback, but we know what his kryptonite is. Like we know as they say, the blueprint to beating Lamar Jackson is having Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. So till he can do that, there's no Super Bowl in sight here, and Patrick is dead set on his three-peat. He's locked in. I can't see it going any other way.
No,
I'm just sorry. Sorry, Stefan. Maybe next year though. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get four in a row. But this three peat's alive and well here in Kansas City. We're feeling it.
Yeah, and I feel like teams might start teaming up together, trying to figure out ways to put together a super team that could magically beat Mahomes or something.
Mm-hmm. That's all they're trying to do. Figure out what can we do, how we can do it. Because some reason Patrick just keeps beating us. We just cannot get this guy, and we've tried so many times.
Yeah, yeah. And it comes to the point where it's like, look, are you guys trying to match the Kansas City Chiefs, or what are you really trying to do here?
No, I mean that's we're the blueprint of how people want to build their team, and for the people who can't draft well or find players, we're the blueprint on how to build your team the opposite way. Because like I said, San Fran wants to be us so bad, they wouldn't did everything that they could do, and it's still never enough. Uh, I, I really just the landscape is so little here. Like there's only one road to the Super Bowl, and it's always in Kansas City.
Yeah. And look, let's be honest. I seen someone make a comment about the Chiefs missing the playoffs this year, and I thought it was the most
Wild.
ridiculous thing. It's like it doesn't even make sense how. Like it doesn't even. There's no mathematical equation. The AFC West is wide open. Like there's questions about Baltimore winning the AFC North.
Man, you gotta be kidding me. That's what I'm saying. Like they're not even the most complete team in the North. You got to worry about winning that thing. Talking about the Super Bowl. Make sure y'all make it to the offs, Baltimore.
Right? Yeah. I think that's probably closer to reality than the Super Bowl.
For
I
real.
mean, if it's just going to be just statistically, I think statistically, it's pretty accurate there. Like, you're more likely to miss the playoffs than win the Super Bowl, and that's all due to Sir Patrick Mahomes, by the way.
Yeah. And Sir Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid's phenomenal play calling here. And shout out to Steve Spagnuolo, the best defensive coordinator of all time at this point. The most, especially the winningest in Super Bowls history at this point. He's got the books, he's got the records. How can you stop
Yeah,
it? How can you stop
yeah,
it?
yeah, and it's crazy to think that he's on pace to, if he just keeps doing what he's doing, which it is a big ask, 10 years from now. Let's be honest, and or maybe even 5 years from now. And but if he does keep that pace, he will beat Tom Brady's records 5 years faster. He won't have to play deep into his 40s to be that guy.
Right, right. That's the big elephant in the room. Because, like I said, off the eye test alone, he's the best quarterback anybody's ever seen, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah,
And like I said, if stats weren't so petty and necessary at the same time, you would already know that he's the GOAT. Tom Brady, like I said, you compare their numbers through the first few years, then and now, it's not even close. Like it don't even make sense how good Patrick Mahomes is.
yeah, it would be a real interesting question, especially since Pat Mahomes' book has not been written, folks. Like, let's not forget that we're not still on chapter five, or chapter six, the very beginning of the book. You're barely maybe chapter 10 in a 50 chapter book. You know what I mean? Like, there's still so much story to go. And really, if you go off the eye test, there's no way you're picking Tom Brady. And we've even seen these two players go head to head. And granted, it wasn't in Tom Brady's prime, but that was like some of the best football Tom Brady
It
was
was his
playing.
farewell tour. Let's call it what it
Yeah.
is. During the
Well,
Tom
he
Brady farewell tour.
he had mastered the art of 3 second football. You know,
Right.
it's hard. Tom Brady never liked to be hit, so he learned if you get rid of the ball fast, you won't get hit. That's how you stop getting hit. He learned the formula, and it extended his career greatly.
Point blank. Like, hey, and big shout out to him, man. Congratulations and all that because not nearly as natural talent as Patrick Mahomes and no mechanic in any function of the game, really. Like, I mean, like from every test you could run, Patrick Mahomes is acing this dude, but it's just something about him and being with Belichick and inheriting all them all time defenses and everything like that. Just being in the right situation, and that's what most players dream of. Michael Jordan ended up in the right situation once they got Scottie Pippen in there. You know what I mean? And some people just benefit from it. It's harder for other folks to go get them extra rings when you ain't got really guys who can help you get there. But when you looked at how stacked the team is, I mean, Tom Brady, yeah, they should have been winning Super Bowls. Like, so kudos
Right.
to them. Cheers to y'all. But like I said, this dude Pat Mahomes is just something else, dude. Already almost 30,000 career yards. He's probably by the end of this season, he should have at least 40,000 yards. Not 40. I said 4. I was about to say 40,000. He should at least have
Right.
about probably 33 by the
Right.
time
Somewhere
the
around there.
entire season. Yeah.
So I asked ChatGTP, I asked the old AI, who is going to win this game, and this is what they came up with factors for influencing the outcome. Quarterback play, number one. Mahomes and Jackson are both game changers. If Mahomes is on fire, the Chiefs' offense can be unstoppable. Conversely, Jackson's mobility and playmaking ability can put tremendous pressure on any defense. Speaking of defense, the Ravens' defense is known for its ability to stifle high powered offenses, while the Chiefs' defense has been improving and can make key stops when needed. Three, injuries and forms. The current health of both players factors, but nobody's really injured, so nothing to worry about going into that game. Number four, home field advantage. Playing at home can have a significant edge. The
Mm-hmm.
Ravens' home games are known for their raucous atmosphere, while the Arrowhead Stadium, the Chiefs' home, is notoriously loud and challenging for visiting teams. Also known as the loudest stadium in the NFL.
Guinness
In a
World Record,
matchup,
baby.
right? And in a matchup between these two teams, it's likely to be a close and exciting game. So they're not going to pick one, but they gave us 4 points, and the Chiefs win those 3 out of the 4 points, and the one they don't win is due to injury. And I guess you can say they win that because they've got an injured guy. You know what I mean? Like, well, what do we do here? This is interesting,
Yeah. So I'll take it. Whatever they
right?
want to say on that end. Chiefs by 17. I already told you. Chiefs by 17. It's banner night. It's gonna be a drop. Uh excuse me, folks. It's gonna be a drop in defense on their end. They're gonna be bewildered. The crowd noise, everything is too loud. It's too much of a party. Kansas City wins 17 points.
hmm I feel it, man. It just feels like a welcome to Kansas City kind of moment. I've felt like they've needed one in a while. Just kind of one of those like, wow, we're here. We are here. There's a reason people celebrate when they actually beat us
Right.
because we're that guy. We're that guy. We're like the Nate Diaz's of the world. Look, sure, there's somebody that can beat him, but I'm not that. I'm not trying to fight him. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? Like it's not me. Like even though I'm 260, I can tell him when I'm 260 or whatever. I can be like Brad. bro,
Right, but I'm
brother.
260, brother.
I'm doing
But
60,
bro, I'm
brother.
260. Like what? And your jaw's probably made out of glass. Like what does that mean?
He said, I don't want to hurt you before the fight. He said, you won't.
You won't.
He said,
Right.
that's not a concern. Gee, like, I'm gonna fuck your whole world up real quick. Like,
I'm trying to tell you, that's a whole different beast. That's
yeah, I seen
insane.
one with Sugar Sean where he did an interview with the barber guy that cuts hair or whatever,
Hmm.
and the barber guy was talking about he could last 45 seconds with him or something. And Sean laughed and was like, nah, 15. And he was like, nah, man, don't be disrespectful. I'm going to last more than 15. And Sean was like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I feel like I'm being very generous with
Right.
15. And it was like 8. It was about 8 seconds.
Right. He said, I'm being
It's like,
generous
yeah,
with this,
this is
bro.
light work.
I said, boy, if you ain't ever got kicked in the shin like this, one good leg kick will tear your whole thing up. You're like, nope, that's it.
Ben wants to know, do we know what the spread is? It depends on which book you're using, but it's sitting right at 2.5, 3 point spread for
Yeah.
Kansas City. So
Definitely three
Kansas City
points
is the
via
favorite.
right. Definitely 3 points via MGM, bet MGM. If you're looking through there, definitely plus three. I just pulled it up here.
Yeah, I think I'm 2.5 on Hard Rock.
Gotcha. So we'll see because we're gonna put some things together. I'm really waiting for the weekend and thinking about them Commanders again, man. I really think that's one I'm gonna have to put some units on, man. I know we was talking about it between them and them Rams.
Yeah, I
I
like that
just think.
Rams one. I
Mhm.
like that Rams one a ton. The Rams are super, like, man, sleeping on the Rams. And I think that's one of those upsetters, man. Like it was just it's close enough of a matchup for that betting favorites not to be so heavily skewed. And
Right.
it just it man, it don't make sense to me.
No. And I think it's going to be a good scoring affair. Uh, but that one's sticking out to me. Besides, ladies and gentlemen, what I've been trying to tell you for the last few months, week one, the New Orleans Saints will tie with the Carolina Panthers. So you need to be on the lookout for that. I'm saying, man, put a little five on it, whatever you can, win you a couple dollars. I think it's going to happen. We ain't seen one in a long time. It's time to make more history.
I know we was this is a Chiefs versus Ravens stream, but we are, 40 minutes into it or so. So I figure we can talk about a couple other games so far. And let's talk about this one. Seth Barrett just brought up a game that we are calling the Dog of the Week. Look, I've got a video out on it. Click on the profile, watch the video. This is your dog. So the Cowboys are playing the Cleveland Browns this year. And Seth is saying that Cleveland is going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm just letting you know Vegas gave us a gift from God by calling the Cowboys the underdog versus the Browns. This is a dream matchup for me. This is the kind of game you highlight because the Cowboys are about to whop the Browns. It's
Oh, yeah.
unfortunate for the Cleveland Browns that they got stuck in such a shenanigans of a quarterback situation that actually starts compiling to look worse. It starts getting worse the more you look at it because over the next 2 years, the amount of money they owe him per year is astronomical. Astronomical. It's $75 million a year they owe Deshaun Watson because they kept pushing it back. That guaranteed money. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Sound
yeah.
look. If you come, it is my opinion's not going to magically change, Seth. You said you sounded like a broken record from last night. Look, we got to get some results before we can reflect on what happens. And you're right. Any given Sunday is an excellent movie and a real life
Man,
thing in football.
top 10 good football movie. We got a video about that too. Top 10 football movie.
Yeah, Seth is he's gonna. He said he's gonna come on every night to slowly change it. Look, I've got you want the key to success? We'll give you the key to success. This is how you get us on the Browns bandwagon. There's two ways. One, Deshaun Watson isn't the quarterback playing, or two, you give us the contract Deshaun Watson got, and suddenly, choo
Man,
choo, I'll be a Browns fan too. Like
man.
it's that simple. That simple.
Oh man.
We got two more comments here, or a couple more. We're missing them. Link says, "Hey gentlemen, do the beards match the bushes?" That's a really weird question. We talk sports here. Um, Let me see
Man.
what we got. Ben says, "My first Chiefs game was in '08, last game of the year. It was cold." Yeah, them Chiefs games get
Oh yeah.
super
And
cold.
I'm sure they lost if it was '08. So it was cold and you got to witness a L probably. Good
Yeah,
night.
I'm trying to remember the cold game that I went to. It was, I want to say like 2017, 2018. It was against the Titans,
Woo.
and we were winning the game, and then they ended up losing it. But man, it was. I left in the fourth quarter because I was afraid of losing some toes. Like it was rough. It was the coldest game at the time, and I think we've had one colder since.
Right.
Oh, and
I was
Ben,
say the ice bowl, the one they just had, the playoff
yeah,
game.
that ice bowl. I think it broke. It was even colder than that one, and I was like, I ain't doing that again. Like that was not cool. That was not cool at all. And he said he went against the Dolphins. Man, talk about a rough game for the Dolphins. That's the wrong time of the year for Miami to be coming to Kansas City.
Boy,
Seth said, talk cold, go up to Cleveland. Look, I'm in Florida, sir. I don't talk cold. That's dirty. Those are dirty words down here in the South, bro. Like I no longer, I don't do that no more. I tapped out. I'm done. You see this? This is beaches. This is all I know. I don't know that Cleveland weather. It's got to
I
be
would say
cold.
yeah. I will not go to Cleveland. I just will not do it. So many things I've heard, so many things I don't want to see. And especially, I don't want to see Brown Stadium, whatever shit bowl is called, shit Allegiance Stadium, whatever it is. It's going to be called Deshaun Watson soon. All that money they paying him before they go under, he going to end up buying a stake in the team. Uh,
Right.
oh,
Look,
man.
no, no, we supported when Joe Flacco took over for Deshaun Watson. We
Oh,
we were
yeah.
on the bandwagon. We
Yeah.
we hopped right on it. So you gotta at least give us a little nod for that.
Man,
Just
dude,
gotta
right. And get a quarterback. If we got a quarterback, wouldn't nearly talk as bad about what we doing. But y'all are getting fleeced. Y'all have just dropped the soap in the shower. And y'all been down there a while trying to pick it up. And Deshaun is having his way. He don't even care about playing. The boy will come in for a few snaps. Oh, I got PTSD. And then, and then he out again. Just collecting checks.
yeah, and I'm excited to see what Jameis Winston can do.
Gotta be. He don't want to be playing.
No, you being in Florida, you from KC? Yeah, I've lived in KC for a couple decades. But once you start getting a little older, you can't do the cold no more, bro. I work outside. I own businesses that involve outside trades, so Florida just makes more sense to me. Yeah, year round I'm working in shorts. So it makes life. When I got to go out to work, it makes it a little more enjoyable.
Yeah, it is a little bit easier when it's always 75 degrees.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean right now we're still 90 or whatever, and but
Woo.
it'll cool down. It's cooling down a little bit, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah.
but here, by like October or so, it'd be like 70, 80. And then, sometimes we get down to 60s. And that gets, you gotta put on, get your coats out.
Well,
And,
yeah, Kansas City, we've already entered that cooler stage now. We finally getting the 80s here and the 70s. You know how that feel, the Kansas City 80s, like a Georgia 60. Like we think it's a full breeze going on. Finally,
well,
so not baked up in here.
I heard it was like 105 the other day, like not too long ago. Like y'all had like a little heat wave or something.
No, I don't know what they was
Maybe
talking
like
about.
maybe like a week or so ago. I'm thinking.
Oh, probably when I was dying and I didn't go outside. Maybe one of them days. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I think they was getting it.
Well, yeah.
February in Florida is perfect. Look, you ain't. It is and it isn't. So the problem is, if you come to visit, it is perfect.
Hmm.
But as a local, I'm cold.
Oh God,
Okay.
he's a local now, and he's
Yeah. As
cold.
as as a as
20,
a as
20
as a
years plus of hardening that skin and his resolve, and everything has
is
just been
gone.
flushed right down the drain.
Yeah, yeah. So in February, I'll be in like a hoodie and sweatpants and like, staying warm, and y'all will want to go to the beach and go swimming and y'all can go in the water and y'all will enjoy it and be happy. But it is absolutely too cold for me. And
It's
there's
too
zero
cold.
chance I'm getting that cold ass water in February. So, I'm pretty far south, but I ain't south enough for swimming in February. So,
You know what? I
it,
gotta go ahead and get my trip down there planned. So I gotta get on the books.
yeah, I think me personally, I'm May, June, and July. That's like
Them the
it's the
scorcher
perfect time.
months.
It's the perfect time. It'll be here. It don't never hit 100 degrees. I put it
All
to you that way.
right.
I don't know about Cleveland. I know Kansas City. Yeah, yeah, y'all. How many 100 degrees days y'all had this year?
Ooh,
Yeah, a couple of them, huh?
too
Mm,
hot.
yeah, I ain't never Tampa. My little area ain't never had one. So you
That's why
know.
I love September. Besides, my birth month, it switches to fall. Usually either on my birthday or the day before. So you're welcome, America. You're welcome, world. I brought the fall with me. I'm saying cool times. These are the months right here. This is the only time really in Kansas City you get real reprieve. Late August, I'd say until about maybe December 2nd. That's when it starts getting like retarded cold, and it'll be cold until damn near. Let's see.
March,
Yeah, I was about to say about March. Yes,
May.
literally until spring starts, like
Yeah,
April. Like it's beyond cold. Like it won't be no snow, but I mean it's so bitter brisk, like teeth chattering cold. It's
yeah.
ridiculous,
See,
ridiculous.
yeah, and I like late April here because it starts getting warm again, and like you start being like, oh, I can go to the beach again. Like we can go outside, and it's enjoyable. So I think like April, May is probably about perfect because then it's not super hot. You know, it's enjoyable here. It's just nice. It's rainy season today though. Like that's all we got today. Yeah, it's just a bunch of little every day ends up in a little rain out here today. So that weather in Kansas City can get like that, in the wintertime, in the fall and stuff. I'm sure Cleveland be getting crazy too.
Man,
Oh, my Ben says my dad lives in Boca, and I'll visit and party then, and I'm back to Kansas.
yeah,
Look,
I'm back to Kansas, man.
there's nothing like Boca either. That's the perfect area. So before I moved to Florida, I used to go to Deerfield Beach, and that was I'd come there every winter and hang out, or most winters, and hang out for a couple months and whatnot. And that's why I had to move down here. I got tired of dreaming about those winter months where I could go to Florida when I could just really be here year round and be happy. But Boca is nice, man. I like Boca. It's It's a good area.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, language I don't understand. I ain't been down there yet. Closest I've been is Georgia. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'll probably move if I ever leave the town. I'd go
Right.
down to Georgia, but I don't know. That's almost still too far south. Too clear. Hurricane Alley. I can't be too close to that water. I like to see
Uh,
it and stay, keep my distance. I don't want to have to evacuate the city because there's a 58-foot wave heading, 150-foot wave.
yeah, he said he lived in Hollywood for a bit. That was a cool area. Yeah, Hollywood's not too bad. It's a smidge more north than I like, but it's not too bad. Hollywood's straight too. So where
I
he's
heard
at is
Hollywood was
Boca.
almost like Wyandotte, man. They say everything's too close together. Say because so many people
Oh
crowded
well,
trying to be there. I was
welcome,
like, cause
welcome, welcome to Florida. Yeah,
oh
that's
yeah,
the
no,
yeah, yeah,
but if I
yeah.
can
That's
spit
a,
from my front porch into your kitchen sink, you too close.
uh, is the window open or not? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, so I was like, the windows open, you sitting
We
right there.
is
Yeah.
right.
Ooh.
I can see the neighbor's house. I'll put it to you that way.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, Boca is just a little bit north of Fort Lauderdale, so it's not too far from there. And I was just down in Miami. Pretty nice. It's always nice to be back down in South Beach. So it's nice to
Man,
spend a handful of days there. That was a nice. This is the nicest hotel I ever had too, bro. That was wild, and I got it for like a ridiculous rate. And
that's what's up. Shout
yeah,
out to
I
the
was
Bibs.
like, yeah, I was like, shout out, yeah, I really was. I was like, look at me, I'm balling in life. I'm making it. Like, look, the hotel, the shower ain't even got curtains. There ain't even no walls or nothing, bro.
Right.
I'm telling
So we
you,
just
like,
walk in. Right.
yeah.
Let that
Oh,
water
Jesse,
splash.
we got old Jesse in the building. Shout out Jesse.
Just past your bedtime, boy. No. No, let's go Chiefs. We can't wait for tomorrow. And I should be over there live in the Arrowhead Den. So we'll see what's going on with
Oh,
the
you
game
gonna do the
tomorrow.
watch party tomorrow?
Maybe I have to do it from where I'm at, but it's gonna be a lot going on.
Yeah, that's the only problem with
I
that.
like to enjoy my Chiefs watching. So that's why y'all can watch me any day the Chiefs aren't playing usually.
Yeah, that one might be easier to pull off as a solo because I know you like. I always watch it by myself, so it's easier for me not to have.
Oh, see, yeah, when you're actually here in Championship City, you gotta feed to the spirit bomb, so to speak. You gotta fuel the energy in the town. You gotta keep the levels up. You know what I'm saying? Family, friends, barbecue. You know how we do it in the town.
Right? Yeah. No, me even back there, bro. Like I like being solo dolo. Like I can yell. Ain't no one gonna be mad that I'm yelling. Like it's just
You just
you
watching
know.
with the wrong people. You sound like you should have came to the barbecue.
Right. That ain't no lie. That ain't no.
Real talk. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an excellent, exciting game tomorrow, man. I can't wait for it for kickoff. We might do a little pre-show, might be able to pop in something pre before the game. But you're going to see me again on Friday because Thursday it's time. Been waiting for this. It's on.
Yeah, we got the Eagles and Packers Friday too.
Oh, yeah. So we'll do
Yeah.
that. What's that? Have you ever been to any Chiefs Road game? I've only been to one, just the old Falcons at the old Atlanta Dome on the road, but I've been to plenty of the home games here. But yeah,
No,
only in Atlanta.
I haven't either. I thought about going to the Chiefs Jags game last year because it was pretty close to the birthday, but that was I'm not nowhere near Jacksonville, so it
Really.
was
And
yeah, it was
shoot,
kind
I
of
really got a chance to do it again this year. We played the Falcons on my birthday this year, so I might need to go to Georgia, see some family,
Georgia.
and get a win on their turf, so I can talk mess all the way back to the crib. We'll have to
Uh,
see.
Georgia.
Georgia. Georgia.
Yeah,
Boy, I
there's a
must grab the
reason.
microphone, turn into Ray Charles for a second.
I think there's a reason auto tune was invented, and it was for dudes like me.
So I tell you, what is
I always thought
this?
that was the craziest thing about T Pain is that dude used the heck out of auto tune, and he can sing. Like it didn't make no sense.
Right, didn't really need it, just like the sound.
Yeah, I always thought that was crazy. Oh, he's trying to get out to Vegas one of these years. Look, they've made that a just a destination for other teams. The Raiders were so bad at selling out games. They said, "You know what? What if we made it easy for the other teams to get there?" They pulled they
I'm
pulled
telling you.
a crazy strategy to fill the stadium, and it's constantly 60% non-Raiders fans in Vegas. But in fairness, that's a franchise that just keeps moving. Like, how many Raiders fans were in Vegas before they moved there?
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
How you know that was the market? So yeah, I hear you.
I'm gonna let you do this one. This from Mr. Ban. What do you think about the Steelers? Or I'm guessing still. Hold on. That might. But
Talking about
I don't think
Carson?
that's a typo. Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah.
a typo.
Yeah, no, I like him here. I think he'll be a valued addition to the running back room. Him, P. Ryan, and Pacheco, it seems like is what it's going to be going forward. And you want a dude like that. Like I said, you want a dude who can hit the hole and keep his feet moving, trucking, throwing people to the ground. Actually, he almost shades of Marshawn the way he was running the rock.
Right. Yeah, and I made a video week one of the preseason talking about he should be making the 53-man roster. Like he was just, it was instant. It's one of those when a guy stands out among other players. That's a highlight. I understand he's
Right.
playing against weaker talent, but even that weaker talent, like nobody else is standing out. Like he jumps off the tape, and those are the kind of guys I want. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, bro.
And
I think he's going to be featured tomorrow. I think he's going to get a good amount of carries. I think he's going to really get a shot to show it.
I would bet on 3 to 5 touches, probably. I can see. I don't think he's going to get too many touches, but I can see him getting like maybe 2 to 4 is probably a little closer to it.
Well, my only thing is I'm putting on him more because for one, remember CH ain't playing. They just
Hmm.
made the move for Piron, so I don't know how quick they're going to actually let him just play. I mean, after that here, I mean, you only got him and Pacheco, really. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe you let Piron play. I mean, if you limit both of them to just a few carries here and there, but somebody's going to have to take the load on and be able to do third down and everything, whatever they
yeah,
need. So,
and I can see like short yardage situations. They go to still too. Like you, I understand Pacheco runs like a big guy, but they could really be just running with a big guy with still, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
right, mix them in and out, like how they used to do with Chris Johnson and what's the boy name? The big boy they had from LSU. What was the name? Ladarius or what was his
Oh,
name?
LeGarrette Blunt.
Lindell White. That's what
Oh,
Lindell.
Lindell White.
Yeah, I'll say that. That was a nasty combo. He said, "What's going on with Clyde? He's just on his period. Apparently, that's PTSD. We talked about it earlier, man. Because I was saying the same thing. And apparently, he caught a body back in 2018. Allegedly, depends on who you think did it. It was either him or his teammate. It was basically from the gist of it. It sounded like they was trying to sell an iPhone. Dude tried to rob him. He got clapped. Now he got PTSD. And like I was talking about on the show earlier, Kansas City isn't necessarily a nonviolent town. I've seen my fair share of people being shot, unfortunately, and I don't have PTSD. So if Clyde has PTSD based on that situation, I'm thinking he's probably the one who pulled the trigger. So that's the only way to be messed up in my logic. I could be completely fucking wrong, but in my logic,
Right.
that's the only way you're not it's traumatized you that much as if you did it.
Yeah. Ben says it depends if he starts ripping off gains and then they'll use feed him. Yeah, I think that's
Hmm.
really, you'll kind of test the water out there, and that's why I think we do see a couple touches out of him, just because. I mean, you kind of want to roll the dice and see what you got there, even with Pacheco. You see with the move with Perrine, you still add guys. Is even as much as we like them, you still want as many threats as possible,
I can settle
especially.
for at least two series because you got to get him out there. And like I said, that's a if Pirine, I mean, he's a veteran, so it shouldn't be that hard for him to get in there and run a counter, run a stick. You know what I'm saying? It should be okay. Oh, I keep Daddy Duty's calling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
Oh,
gonna
it's all
have to
good.
bid you adieu here in a moment. Keep getting these calls and messages. As y'all see, my screen keeps popping.
Yeah,
Mm,
and he says, I think it's mentality's weak. Look,
gotta
you
be.
never. I'm not going to touch on that.
Well, not weak,
You
but I
know,
mean, yeah, trauma's different for everybody, so I can
yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
But
yeah, like you just see it. It affects people differently,
yeah,
and PTSD is a real thing.
right.
I've seen people that were shell shocked, and stuff like that. Where, I'm driving down the street in Berlin on New Year's, and fireworks all of a sudden becomes a huge issue for someone. Where it's a suddenly they're in flashback mode. And
Well,
that's not always. It's hard to party in that situation. You know what I mean?
man, you're not lying here. So we'll see what happens with him, and hopefully he gets all the help that he needs and everything like that for sure. KU got an incredible health system here, so they'll get him right there. They got people ready for this kind of thing. Uh, but other than that, man, I'm looking forward to a good game tomorrow. Kansas City by 17 here. If you ain't heard it earlier, Mr.
Yeah.
KC, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm right about 6 points. I don't think that we're going to completely blow them out, but I think it's going to be a comfortable lead. And maybe it's 17 and they cut it down to six. Like, that's a real possibility. I can see that being the story of the night. And people were saying it wasn't so bad. It was really wasn't as bad as it looked. But we all know that it really truly was. And it's just one of those things.
Right. So we'll have to see, man. Like I said, we'll see. Man, that one. Yeah, yeah. We got a few of those going down the line here.
Bet money, yeah. Check out
Yeah,
our
so,
parlay video. I dropped a parlay video. If you want to talk about sports betting, I dropped a quick little parlay. Gave you two parlays on the week that I felt comfortable with. There was two three-team parlays. One was a plus 700, and one was a plus 1,000. So it depends on how risky you want to be, and what kind of returns you want to try to get.
right. Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and take a moment here and back out for a moment. But I appreciate everybody who stopped by. Mr. KC is going to keep rapping with y'all, regale you here, and get you wrapped up. But I appreciate you, Daddy Dooley, calling. And you know how it is. We got these young, we real life people doing real life stuff and real life shows, man.
Right,
Still real life people. This ain't ESPN yet. We ain't got no, we can step away commercial, none of that kind of stuff. We got to do what we got to do. But yeah, all the comments and everybody who came through, I appreciate you. And like I said, we catch a snippet of the preview tomorrow. I said preview, pre-show tomorrow, and you'll catch again Friday for the next game. Bang.
bam. Yeah, and it's just let's see what Ben said here. It said I would love for my home to take the lead early and not have sweating until the last 3 minutes of the game. But look, if we know anything about Andy Reid football, right? If I've come to grasp anything about the situation that happens, is Andy Reid keeps all these games super close. Like that's all it is. That's why it's hard to look away from the spread being like 3 points. If I was gonna bet this game, and you're betting for the Chiefs, just go ahead and take the money line. Like don't give them 3 points because Andy Reid's got a way of winning games by like 1 to 3 points. You know what I mean? That's just very typical Andy Reid football. But it's fun. It keeps you excited, and there's a lot of games. You look at like all the. If you look, we kicking it off with the Chiefs and the Ravens, right? And then on Friday night, which is crazy to even have a game, if we're going to be honest, Friday night football is the jam, and it's going to be the Packers versus the Eagles, and the Packers, I think, are going to win that game. Yes, he said, "Are you coming over tomorrow?" I think he said he was going to. I think that he said that was his plans, but you definitely want to tap in with him and double check and whatnot. But I think that's what he was doing. I know we were talking about doing a live stream, and he'll be, sometimes you get too many people in the background, it makes it a little hard. But we'll see what he's doing. But yeah, I would just tap in with Dude with a Beard. You got the number. It does seem like they play everyone tight. Yeah, Ben, I'm right there with you. It's just crazy how he does it too. I think he enjoys the electric part of football. Like he wants to make it the most exciting thing he can possibly do. He wants to put a good product on the field, and that's just Andy Reid football. But I also, if you go with do with the Beards theory, it could be a statement game. Oh, it's Texas Repo in the house, bro. What's up, fam? Hey, just kicking it, getting excited, pre-gaming for this Baltimore Ravens Chiefs matchup. We're getting excited and just can't stop talking football. It's pretty crazy. And so you caught us right at the towards the end of the stream. You did just miss do with the beard, but I think I'm gonna hang out with y'all for another few minutes, another probably 15 minutes or so. I'm just so pumped for NFL football to finally be kicking back off. Even if it wasn't the Chiefs playing this game, I would be watching. Like I already know I'm watching this game. That Friday night game is a lock. Might do a watch party for it too. That's a lot of hours of streaming this week. But like if I'm watching the game, like might as well be able to express how I'm feeling about it. Watching it live. And the Brazil aspect of this matchup is bonkers to me. So I don't know if y'all have been paying attention what's going on in Brazil, but it is crazy. So you can't wear green. And both the Packers and the Eagles, as everybody knows, are green teams. So if you're a fan going to Brazil, you wanted to travel and watch a game, like you're stuck in that mode, and you can't wear any gear walking around. You're gonna get in gang violence going on, and then like Twitter's shut down. You can't tweet, so any of the players, fans, media, all these people that are expecting to go there and have a great time and enjoy themselves or like broadcast to the world can't do that in Brazil. It's really kind of a back and forth thing going on, and it's not what you want to see. It creates it's interesting that they chose these two teams to play in Brazil. Like they could have gone completely different routes. Oh, Daniel says he's got a let's go Chiefs. Look, we're pumped for it, bro. We are less than 24 hours from kickoff. The Chiefs aren't doing nothing. Texas Repo is in the house to troll us tonight. Keep us on our toes, Texas, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You got to keep us humble. You got to sometimes, what was that? The emperor, you got to tell him there was naked, like, he's not all that. Like, sometimes you got to be brought back down to reality. But I hate to bring it to you. Thursday night football, banner night in Kansas City is not that night, sir. Not that night. Chiefs should play a game in Tijuana. Yeah, look, I dig that. Look, I want a game in Puerto Rico. Look, I'm not to, you guys know I'm down here in Florida. My escape, my go to is Puerto Rico. So it's like a place that's in America. You ain't got to worry about none of this violence, and really, too much, unless you want to get into it. You know, shout out old Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful island. Like they don't have a stadium for it, I don't believe, but it'd still be legit. Ben said he'd go to the Tijuana game. Look, I don't blame you. Like Tijuana, like Mexico is a top-notch country in my opinion. Like I know they've got problems, obviously. Like you always got to worry about the cartel and blah 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 and stuff like that. But I mean, Mexican food is legit, bro. Like, tell me if we start talking about top-notch cuisines, like it's hard to top like good Mexican food. And if you're from Kansas or Missouri, you know what I'm talking about. The authentic, like from Mexico, Mexicans making your food Mexican. And I'm sure Texas knows too. Like he's down there. Texans can take down KC with CJ Stroud. Look, it's not impossible. Noxie, Steelers fan here, but y'all not winning the Super Bowl this year. Zero chance? Zero? Are you talking about the Chiefs or the Steelers? Because I feel like the 0% chance has to be for the Steelers, right? Like that's why you brought them up in 0% chance, right? Like, uh, y'all not winning the Super Bowl this year, 0% chance for the Steelers. That's correct. Trying to go to that Hong Kong club. I don't know. You talking about in China Hong Kong club? I might have to Google that one, Ben. I'm not familiar. Texans are can take down KC with CJ Stroud. I'd say that, yeah, sure, that's a possibility. It's in the. I'd put them in the category of teams that make it a possibility. They've got a great I think they have the best wide receiver group in the league. Like people are not talking about it. I'm not seeing anyone claim number one for the Texans like I have. Like it is wild. And a good quarterback, right? You got CJ Stroud, solid quarterback, not Patrick Mahomes, but a solid quarterback. Yeah, and Ben said the Texans are good. Yeah, I think everyone would agree with the Texans being good. Now, there is a difference between the Texans are going to beat the Chiefs and the Texans can beat the Chiefs because I know it's the Texans can be. Tank Dell is solid. Look, we can start naming a lot of players on that roster that are solid. Noxie says the 49ers are getting their revenge. Now, that would be an interesting matchup, right? Like, let's be honest. It would be pretty exciting if we got to see the 49ers again. Like, as a Chiefs fan, like, you know how we're going for that three-peat? We can't it can't be the 49ers. Like, you need to pick another team because we cannot break their heart like that again. Like, if we do that to them again, they are the Buffalo Bills from back in the day. Like, it would just, uh, Purdy in the playoff mode is dangerous. Look, play, that maybe in the playoffs, maybe when he's playing them NFC teams. But, I really like the Chiefs' chance if they play the 49ers. If for some reason, some way, that became the matchup. Like it'd be ridiculous. It just it wouldn't be it for me. I have trouble seeing it. I just something about Purdy and the 49ers ain't it for me. It just I don't even think they go to the Super Bowl. I actually have the Lions, and my co-host dude with the beard has the Packers. So both of us have it as an NFC North team. I think that's a better direction to look than trying to. Are you really bringing out the 49ers again and hoping that's the team? I feel like you need to dig deeper in the NFC. It's got to be somewhere else. Ben said they can't beat Andy. Yeah, I don't. I just don't. It's you can see it. Like look at the overtime. Look at what happened in overtime. The matchup that happened in overtime was ridiculous. It showed you who pays attention to the finer details of the game. Like everybody on the Chiefs, from A to the towel boy, knew the rules for overtime. And magically, the 49ers got hustled with ease. Like, come on. Come on, not the 49ers. Ben says the Packers. Yeah, that's what Dude with the Beard says. He's got the Packers too. And I think that's a legitimate chance. And I can't believe that they are dogs against the Eagles. Like, I couldn't believe that. And the betting public is picking the Eagles. Like, it's almost disrespectful at this point. John Ross, hey, shout out to you. Shout out to you for being back. It's nice to see you again. He said the Eagles are gonna win. You on the Eagles too? I mean, you can sell me on it almost. Can you sell me on it? Like Saquon Barkley, because it was a great addition. You might be able to sell it to me because I just seen a real regressed. No, Packers aren't gonna win. Yeah, like I think it's. I'm a Saints fan. It's okay. That's good. Look, that's what's nice about that's what's nice about this conversation, in my opinion, because neither one of us are biased in any way, right? So we know I'm a Chiefs fan, you're a Saints fan. We can look at this game from the outside view better than like a Packers Eagles fans can. But Eagles are just better. What makes you think the Eagles are better? I'm not fully sold on the fact that Jordan Love is not the better quarterback. Are you picking if you had to start a franchise, are you picking Jalen Hurts or are you picking Jordan Love? And it is rough because we only had one season, right? And Jalen Hurts, you look at his resume, we do have a Super Bowl there. But I think Ben said I wouldn't mind seeing the Lions get it. Yeah, I think the storyline's there too. Like not to say that this is rigged or nothing, but if it was rigged, like you have a Jared Goff who's never lost to Patrick Mahomes, played him a couple times. You have the Detroit Lions who don't have Super Bowl. They don't have a win. Like it's got the romance to it. To be fair, Love only has one season, and Hurts is more experienced, but I believe Love is the better one. Yeah, and it's close. I agree with you there. Like, and it's hard. It is kind of unjust to say, and I've heard people say you got to wait and see with Love, but really, as the season progressed, he got better and better. There was a few hiccups towards the end of the season, like a rough game or two, but like a very solid season overall. And it just made sense to me. The wide receiver core for Green Bay is kind of underrated. The Eagles do have a good one. You know, the Eagles picked up Saquon Barkley. The Packers picked up Jacobs. So, you know, they both improved on their or have legit running backs. John Ross says the defense of the Eagles has improved, and I believe Brown and Smith will create big plays and get the win. Yeah, the defense is pretty solid. My also problem is like Nick Sirianni, I think that's how you say his name, the head coach for the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts don't even get along. They have a working relationship, but they're two dudes that don't even actually like each other. And that always kind of, I get nervous about that. And I mean, what do you think about Jason Kelsey being gone? All of a sudden, all of a sudden, that tush pushing might not be the same as it once was without old Jason Kelsey. So I've got questions. It's good. It's a firework game, bro. This is a banger. They did prime time right. They really did. Jaden Reed is amazing and undefeated, but not better than the Eagles duo. Yeah, it's it's debatable. It's debatable. Look, the Packers just seem to have a way to win. And what else is another kind of weird, like, I don't know if it's a factor, right? But just something to pay attention to keep our eyes on. The Eagles are wearing like black in this game because of the situation in Brazil. They can't, no one's wearing green. So they actually decided to black out. And I thought that was kind of nuts. Like, it might be hard to see that guy down the field if if you're wearing black. They could mess it up. Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed. Yeah, like, that's a, like, tell me that's not terrible for the Packers. Like, that's pretty slept on. Who's going to win the Steelers versus Browns? I believe it is going to be the Cowboys versus the Browns this week. But going into it, uh, I've got questions about the Steelers. I'm guessing you're talking about a future week game. I know these two teams play each other twice a year, and I think it's possible they split. The Browns have the better team. The Steelers have the better coach. The Steelers are in a situation where they grabbed two quarterbacks out of the bargain bin, and I'm not sure either one of them are going to work. It makes me kind of nervous. I was rooting for Justin Fields, but the fact that Russell Wilson beat him out let me know that it's a bad situation because Justin Fields should have a higher ceiling than Russell Wilson. The Hail Mary to George Pickens. Yeah, ain't that right, Noxie? Look, that's your only saving grace at this point. Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dotson, Johnny Wilson. Yeah, I mean both teams have weapons, man. And what about Josh Jacobs versus Saquon Barkley? That's another, like, the running back matchup's pretty stellar too. Yes, John Ross says yes. The Steelers, I believe, will struggle, and the Browns will win. Yeah, and I hate the Browns. I hate Deshaun Watson, and that's the reason I hate the Browns. I don't really hate the Browns. I just hate Deshaun Watson. So as soon as he goes down for injury on the season, and we don't predict injuries on this show, but we hope, and the only person we would ever hope for is someone with his character. And when he goes down, we'll start rooting for the Browns. But that's a fun one. Do with a beard, my co-host has the Steelers winning the division. He has them winning the AFC North. Me personally, I'm a little bit firmer believer in the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens should win the North, but the AFC North is the best division in football. You're talking about the Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens. There's not a bad team to be found. Chubb is back, in addition of Jerry Judy and getting Deshaun Watson back, but he's terrible. And if he can come back and play good, they'll win. Chubb is not back. He's not back yet. He's still on injured reserve, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's going to miss at least the first 4 games. So, and that's another big factor for me for the Browns this, especially this week going into it. Like I don't, I think they have their backup running back is a guy named Ford, and he's pretty. I think he looked pretty good too. If it's who I'm thinking of. Let me see what you said here, John. Ravens will win the North by a mile. That's my prediction too. Maybe not by a country mile. It's a tough one, but like it feels like the shoe in. Bengals will be second. Oh yeah, yeah. I think it should be Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. It might be. It's a tough one. Oh, never mind. Yeah, Ford is pretty good. Yeah, without Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb is it does hurt. Like he is the guy you want, and I'd feel better about the Browns versus the Cowboys if Chubb was playing, but I don't know. And Ford is a good fill in. This is how people prove themselves, right? Ben said he will be a millionaire if the Steelers win the division. Yeah, right. Yeah, look, that ain't no lying. That ain't no lie. Jeez, man. But it's crazy though. The Steelers always win, or excuse, not. Let me rephrase this. The Steelers always win enough games to be above 500. And Mike Tomlin doing that the last couple years is really an achievement. Like if we look at how garbage those teams have been, rough, rough, super rough, unbelievably. Like they just, poor Steelers, man. Let me see. What's the Sunday night game? That is going to be it's the Rams versus the Lions. That's all right. And like, as a guy that's choosing the Lions to win or win the NFC North and all that, I still think the Rams might pull off this upset. I think people are counting out the Rams, and I think they might pull. I think I'm going to bet the Rams. I'm hoping for the Lions, like as a fanboy, but I think I'm going to bet the Rams for that Sunday night game. Mike Tomlin getting Noxie says they are a second half team. Mike Tomlin going to get Russ back to Super Bowl contention. Yeah, yeah. When's that? I don't think he's done that since he got there, right? Like, if we gotta check the books, like, how long has that been? It's been a while. Been a while since we talked about Mike Tomlin and the Super Bowl. Those are almost like two words that don't go together no more. Been a while. Kind of, kind of wild to think about, really. Yeah, but I like the Rams. That's another just a prime time Sunday night banger. They knocked it out of the park week one. And then Monday night, we get the Jets at the 49ers. Oh yeah, John Ross. I definitely thought you were joking. I definitely got that joke because it's just it's been a while, bro. We pulling out encyclopedias or something to look up when that happened last. Like, how Big Ben was still a young guy then, you know. I think he might have been on his second contract, maybe. Like maybe that might have been a first contract when I'd have to think about it. I know Coward drafted him, but I mean, still pulling off 500 with like look at last year's roster. Like that was so boo boo. That quarterback group was just it's still bad. It might be worse this year if we're going to be honest. And This the fact that he still pulls it off is amazing. Who's playing tomorrow? It's the Chiefs versus the Ravens. It's the game everyone's looking forward to. It's banner night in old Kansas City. I wish I was there for the game. I wish I was there to pick up some barbecue. The barbecue in Kansas City compared to Florida is just 9 day difference. It's disrespectful to even call this barbecue. Really, John said, "My bad. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's if I hadn't talked about it if we didn't go live every day, I'd have trouble just knowing it off the top of my head. And I'm really hoping next week I don't mix up the games for this week. You know what I mean? Like once we get going, asking for fantasy. Did we get your fantasy roster? I always like to see them. Ben said slaps, baby. Yeah, man. Look, we can start having debates here. No, slaps is legit. Slaps is. I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about slaps. Um, I am more of a Jack Stacks guy myself. It's closer to from like I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. You know what I mean? And it's South Kansas City at that. So like Jack Stack, especially the Martin City location, is where it is. And Texas Repo says Texas barbecue is best. I know you like to troll, so I'm just gonna let you believe that in your head. I've worked in Texas for 3 months twice in my life. So 6 months of my life I've spent in Texas having Texas barbecue, and I can tell you from a fact, Texas barbecue is not better. It's not better. There's a reason the American Royal is held in Kansas City every year, and that is the World Series of barbecue competition. Oh, Ben's from Topeka. Shout out to Topeka, man. I've never really been out that way. I've driven through it, but it's pretty nice. I like Jack Stacks. Uh, LC's is another good one. If you've ever make it out there, you remember Groovers? No, I don't remember Groovers. I know you thinking Gomers? I know Gomers. I don't know Groovers. Louisiana is underrated. I've not had any Louisiana barbecue, so I cannot tell you. That is, I've driven through it, and I went camping there actually for like a week in Louisiana, down there in Bush, Louisiana, out in Bum Diddley, out in the middle of nowhere. I remember there was a tiger at the truck stop. If you're from Louisiana, you might know the tiger at the truck stop, or if you've driven through. You didn't work in Texas? Where at? In Waxahachie, Texas, which is just south of Dallas, Fort Worth area, and then out in Mongolia, Texas, which is a little bit north of Houston. Topeka sex, don't lie. Look, I ain't never been there. There's a reason I ain't been there, you know. What is there to go see, but at least, far as Kansas standards, it's it's not bumfuck. Like there's a lot of nowhere Kansas, you know. Like you drive 10 minutes outside of Topeka, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like let's be honest. Uh, it's Magnolia. Yeah, yeah. There we go. It's been a while. It's been a few years, but there we go. Yeah, yeah. And Magnolia was kind of nice. I liked it. It was okay. I don't like. I'm not. I wasn't huge on it, but I worked a lot. So, when you're mostly just working, it's hard to judge a place. What part of Texas you from Texas? What neck of the woods you been at? Have you ever been to Chanute? No, I've never been to Chanute, Kansas. I don't mess with Kansas. Like I was a Missouri boy, so I lived in Kansas City. But like if we went and did things, everything was in Missouri. So like I would go to like the Lake of the Ozarks, down to like Warsaw, Missouri, and stuff like that. Like that's kind of more my deal. Um, I used to street race in high school. And we'd go out to like Kemper Arena area and like Bonner Springs, but that's about it. That's about it for Kansas for me. But all my people come from Wichita, so I should spend a little time out there one day. You got a hunting camp out there? And oh, out in Chinook? Nice. Once you begin some deer? I ain't had no deer meat in a minute. It's been a hot minute since I've had some venison. From Sugarland, Texas. I lived in OKC and Edmond for 3 years. Yeah, OKC is kind of it's different. I like their barbecue. I like Oklahoma barbecue too. It's not too bad. They do it okay, but not too shabby. I worked one week out there in Norman, Oklahoma, and that was kind of interesting. It was kind of pretty close to the too. It's kind of nice. If you got deer meat, get it with cheese in it. What you mean put some cheese in your deer meat? I guess. I mean normally I just like cut it up for some tacos or something, or just regular nice little backstrap or something. I see some good times at Sandstone. Yeah, Sandstone's been legit. I don't even know. I'm sure they got some other name for it now. I know they've changed the name 20 different times, but Sandstone is a great place to watch a show, man. That ain't no lie. They got a 14 pointer last year. Jeez. No, trust me, the sausage. Oh, yeah, some sausage. I bet that is good. I don't hunt, but my wife's family does. So when I lived in Missouri, like I always had deer meat. It was nice. So her brother-in-law uh, is not allowed to like process the deer at his house, or was not, and he'd come over to my house and process it. And bro, I'm talking. I've had fresh. That deer was dead this morning. Got shot this morning. Threw that bad boy on the smoker that afternoon. You know what I mean? Like we done. Uh, ain't had no good deer in a minute. Get it with cheese and the sausage. That's got to be the recipe, John. That sounds good. Probably a little. You probably put a little pork fat in there. Would you put anything else besides cheese and venison? You mix it, add a little fat or anything. I'm a fat kid. I talk a little barbecue, little smoked meat all damn day. Uh, one of these days I'll open up a barbecue place out here in Florida and let these folks know how it goes down. Yeah, but it's good times. Well, folks, I know it's amazing. Your thoughts on crawfish? Oh, I eat crawfish too. I prefer just the tails though. Eating the heads mess with me a little bit, but normally I drink when I eat crawfish too, so the heads bother me a little less. But I mess up a good 3 pounds. You know, maybe not three, probably two. I'll probably knock out good in two. One for sure, maybe two. I eat a little crawfish. That's one of the reasons why I moved down to Florida, though. We got that fresh seafood down here. Like, it's night and day difference. It's kind of hard to get fresh seafood in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? But we get some crawfish every now and again. We have crawfish pond, and my dad cooks the best in all Louisiana. I promise. Man, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. I believe you. Like I ain't never had. My problem is right is when I go to start judging these crawfish boils, is I ain't never really had a bad one yet. You know what I mean? Like once you get them, especially you throw in some shrimp and some crawdads, and some potatoes and some corn. Like, bruh, how do you, you can't mess it up. Love a good crawl. Good crawl that get you pumped, get you excited. Had none in a minute. I need to do some. I've been on some oysters and, and crab lately. Some blue crab, stone crab. Stone crab season's coming up here in a little bit, a couple more months. I have to take the old boat out, see if I can't get me a little, some stone. My first concert was ICP at Sandstone parking lot. It had 97 words, can't explain. Yeah, I believe that. Jeez Louise. Were you just in the parking lot for the ICP concert, or did you make it in? Crazy enough, my first real concert was at Sandstone, and it was a Leonard Skinner tribute band. So that was exciting. You know, that makes it real fun. That was entertaining. It was way back in the day. It's fun times, especially at the end. You know, they say free bird for last. Get the people going. Okay, in your opinion, would you start Spencer Rattler over Derek Carr? Oh no, I think I would just stick with Derek Carr. And I hate to say it, and the reason I'd say that is because it gives Rattler, I can't ever say his name right. It drives me nuts. But I think it gives him more time to develop. You know, especially behind a veteran quarterback like Derek Carr, they can show him the ropes effectively. I don't. I wanted Derek Carr to be successful for the Saints so I could talk shit to the Raiders, and it didn't work out. And I don't have any faith in Derek Carr, but I do think it was the better option. The concert was in the parking lot. Well, I do know they got a big old parking lot, so that had to be a pretty crazy one. I've never been to a ICP concert, but I'm known enough juggalos in my time and seen some of their parties to know that like that's got to be a crazy time. Like you got to be going absolutely wild. Yeah. Oh, and you as a kid, yeah, and young, yeah. Yeah, that's like, yeah. You'll never forget that. You'll never forget those days. I think we should trade Kamara and draft a guy like Ollie Gordon or Cushion Judkins. The problem with that is who is trading for Kamara? Like I understand that you're trading for him, you're going to sell some jerseys, right? Like, so adding to the team, it looks like you're doing something to improve. But I think you'd get a real late round pick for Alvin Kamara. I just don't know what the value for Alvin Kamara would be. Now, if you just wanted to move on from him, I could see that being a possibility. As far as like trade value, maybe third, fourth is being kind of, I feel like slightly generous, like slightly kind of nice. Yeah, I really like. It's the same reason you want to get rid of him, right? He's a top 10 running back. He's fringe top 10. He's not, and I don't. I've got so many questions about Alvin Kamara. Like I'm just not interested in it. And you got to pay him. Like, why would I trade for him when I could just draft an Ollie Gordon or Judkins? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I not looking in the draft? And your other problem is okay. I don't believe in paying running backs anymore. I'm not in the camp of paying the running back. So There's some exceptions. It makes sense you're paying Christian McCaffrey. I think it makes sense to pay Derrick Henry. I think it might make sense to pay Saquon Barkley, but the lifespan of a running back is too short. The value of keeping one is just rough. I mean, when's the last time a dominant running team was won the Super Bowl? When's the last time we really looked at the running back winning it? I mean, you can argue the 49ers are kind of a heavy run team, right? You know, Kyle Shanahan focuses on the running back. Uh, do I like Isaiah Pacheco enough? No, I don't. I like Isaiah Pacheco. Not pay Isaiah Pacheco. I wouldn't. And most fans in Kansas City would probably tell you to pay Pacheco. I wouldn't pay Pacheco either. He wouldn't, like, my list of running backs I'd pay is super, super short. Like, it is, I don't have a five. I don't think I get to five guys. And it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, maybe I think Nick Chubb is worth the money, you know, but it's tough because he's injured. Like this is the problem when it comes to injury is now you're paying a guy a bunch of money and he's going to be injured. Running backs get injured. And I'd rather every 4 years, every 3 years, spend a second, third round pick on a running back. See if I can hit. And maybe even like a second 1 year and a sixth the next year, you know, and like just keep continuously rotating it. And honestly, you can even look around the league and find guys for nothing that are veteran players. Look at, like, if we talk about the Chiefs and Isaiah Pacheco, look at what McKinnon did last year. He was just as effective as Pacheco and seen almost as many snaps, right? And he's, veteran minimum guy. Like you can slide veteran minimum so much. Question: why do y'all like CH so much? Clyde Edwards Solaire. Um, it's not me. It's not me. I don't think most the fan base is not high on CEH. I think Kansas City brought him back because he's not. He knows the offense. You know, he knows the system. He's a nice depth guy. You know, if you got to go down the list of guys, at least you know you got a guy that's got 4 years of chief experience. There's a reason they brought in Perrine. Like they weren't like I don't know when CH is going to play again. To be honest with you, I just it's kind of rough. But yeah, the running back market is super. It's tough and it's sad for running backs, right? Like it used to be, you really wanted one, but the Chiefs. I'm not going to call a dominant running team, and I have trouble calling Isaiah Pacheco super elite, even though he's a top 10 guy. And it just, I just feel like too easy to replace. It just makes too much sense. Well, folks, we are getting real close to that 2 hour mark. I think we're going to wrap it up here in the next couple minute or so. Yeah, the Chiefs will be fine. Yeah, like it's a passing league. Like, just it don't make sense. Like paying guys don't work. Well, folks, I'm going to be here live tomorrow for the Chiefs watch party. Come check us out pregame. If you want to hang out for the rest of the game, well, I'll be here. Check it out. Y'all have been excellent tonight. I appreciate y'all keeping the conversation going. Yeah, appreciate you, John. Appreciate you, Ben. Y'all legends. Y'all make it easy. It makes the light work. Y'all have a good night. And remember, go Chiefs. Them Chiefs.